Okay, friends, so let's go ahead and begin with reciting the Namo Tassa and the three refuges for those who like to do that. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. So good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Wednesday evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. Now, some of you might be wondering, what happened to Bhante Rahula's head? Some mark on the head, because last time I had a little accident on the other side of my head. And so anyway, it's nothing, no big deal. I didn't have to have any stitches, just walked into a low branch. Okay, so I hope everybody was able to get the mailing with the link to some suttas on the Noble Eightfold Path. Now, for the last several weeks, we've been, talking about the deeper, the levels of the middle path, the external middle path, which is the Eightfold Path, and then talking about the internal mental Eightfold Path, which is sort of a more advanced level of, meditating, or keeping the mind in the present moment. But so I want to go back and to sort of the basics and go over the Eightfold Path again, the Noble Eightfold Path, which is the fourth of the Four Noble Truths, and the path leading to the cessation of suffering. So I'm going to go to the share screen, and I hope I can find, I don't know why I always have the same problem here. Okay. So there's a few suttas in this this document on the Eightfold Path. I'm going to kind of go through them. Many of you already know them, but it's always good. This is the way that the Buddha actually taught. These are taken from the suttas, the way the Buddha explained the Noble Eightfold Path. So I'll teach you the Noble Eightfold Path. I will analyze it for you. The Buddha is talking to the monks. Listen to that and attend closely. And what monks is the Noble Eightfold Path? Right view, right intention or right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And what bhikkhus is right view? The knowledge of suffering, the knowledge of the origin of suffering, the knowledge that suffering can cease, and the knowledge of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. This is called the right view or the right understanding. And I want to comment on these terms that are used. Now, as I've already mentioned previously, the people who translate the sutras, translate words in different ways. So when I say the right view, it's right in the sense that it leads to the reduction of suffering and the increase in harmony. Now, some other teachers, or Venerable Punyaji has translated this as harmonious view, because it leads to harmony. So it kind of means the same thing. Whenever the Buddha used the terms right and wrong, it's whatever is right, it leads to the lessening of suffering and the increase of freedom from remorse, guilt, worry, remorse, and fear. And whatever the Buddha, when he mentions something is wrong, like a wrong view, that leads to more suffering, more guilt, worry, remorse, and fear, and ignorance. So that's the way that one should understand these terms. So what is right intention? So sometimes that's called right thought or right resolve. So the thought of renunciation, the thought of non-ill will, and the thought of harmlessness or non-cruelty. This is called right intention. Because a lot of our intentions of the ordinary person is to amass more possessions, not simplifying one's life, but making one's life even more complicated by wanting more and more things, more and more luxury, more and more freedom to do what one wants, and so on. But also that leads to then involvement in sometimes breaking the precepts and accumulating suffering. So anyway, so thinking about those, basically thinking about the Dhamma. And right speech, right action, right livelihood, and right effort. So I'm not going to read through all of these because probably you've read them before, and I would recommend you to read them, these again. But the effort basically to practice the Eightfold Path, the right effort to do all the above. And then the right mindfulness. So we've already been talking about mindfulness quite a lot, but it refers to the four foundations of mindfulness. And then the right concentration. And this right concentration, as you can see here, it refers to entering the jhanas, the four jhanas. So it takes a good deal of practice to be able to eventually overcome the five hindrances, to dwell in the first jhana, which you can see is accompanied by applied thought and sustained thought, rapture and happiness, born of seclusion. And what is the meaning of happiness born of seclusion? That means when a the person attains concentration, and the hindrances, the five hindrances have subsided, then one becomes secluded from the hindrances. One becomes secluded from the distractions of the external world, because the mind is no longer paying attention to and reacting to what is coming through our senses. So it's become secluded from the defilements of the mind. And then it goes on to each of those jhanas is a more refined and deeper level of concentration, which ends with the fourth jhana, is said to be the purification of mindfulness by equanimity. So anyway, now, so that's the way he kind of defined the Noble Eightfold Path. Now, there's also something called the Tenfold Path. And it's a little bit complicated, but you're going to hear that word in one of these other suttas. But the regular Eightfold Path that was described in that first sutta we read is what is called the mundane Eightfold Path. It's called mundane because the person has not yet attained, had the supramundane experience. So what is called a supramundane experience is the first glimpse of nibbana. We're experiencing when the consciousness, the ego consciousness, gets totally transcended, and the cessation of the conditioned mind. That's called the supramundane experience. And only that signals the attainment of stream entry. And so that is called the ninth and 10th, the person that attains stream entry and the other four stages. And it's called right attainment and right wisdom. So that means the path and the fruit, attaining the path knowledge, and right liberation. The fruit is the liberation. Anyway, it may be kind of difficult for you to understand at the moment, but we'll talk about it more later. So anyway, that's just to keep that in mind. Then there's the two levels of the Eightfold Path, mundane, the Eightfold Path, and the supramundane Eightfold Path. The supramundane Eightfold Path means you have right view, the view of emptiness, the view of the deep experience of the Four Noble Truths and have overcome doubts. Anyway, so coming to this next sutta, so he's talking about when a person has wrong view, wrong thought, wrong speech, action, wrong livelihood, wrong effort, wrong mindfulness, wrong concentration, wrong knowledge, and wrong release. Now here he's mentioning the 9th and 10th steps of the Tenfold Path. Wrong knowledge, that means right knowledge would be the knowledge of entering the stream and so on. And wrong release means not being released from the defilements. So when one has the wrong Eightfold Path, they undertake, everything they do is undertaken with that, whatever deeds and thoughts and determinations is based on greed, hatred, and delusion, and leads to, suffering. And why is that? Because the view is evil. Well, they use the word evil here, but the view is wrong. But why I included these, because these little these little analogies. Just as when a neem tree seed, a bitter seed or bitter melon is placed in the moist soil, whatever nutriment it takes from the soil all conduces to its bitterness, acidity, and distastefulness. Why is that? Because the seed is evil, or the seed is of that nature. In the same way, when a person has wrong view on all the rest, whatever they do is going to be done with greed, hatred, and delusion, and unskillful thought, speech, and actions, because their view is tainted. The view is not clear. And then I'm not going to read all these analogies, but I encourage you to read those analogies, because it's very nice the way the Buddha, used these analogies of everyday life and things to explain the Dhamma. Like when a sugarcane seed or a rice grain or grape seed is placed in moist soil, whatever it takes from the soil and water conduces to its sweetness, tastiness, and delectability. Why is that? Because the seed is auspicious. Now here's a very short sutta where he's saying, monks, these are the two conditions for the arising of wrong view. What two? The voice of another, that means hearing things from another person, and inappropriate attention, not being attentive to what the person is saying. So these are two conditionings for the arising of wrong view. These are the two conditions for the arising of right view. Which two? The voice of another and appropriate attention. These are the two conditions for the rising of right view. Now, this next sutta, the Sukha Sutta, the spike. Now again, people are not farmers, they might not be aware of, but let's say you're probably aware of a stalk of wheat. They use barley here, but they don't grow a lot of barley usually over here, but in America, but wheat fields. So they have little spikes on the wheat stalks. And if you handed it in the wrong way, those little spikes could actually pierce your hand and foot and draw blood if you grab it in the wrong way. And so a person with wrongly directed, wrong view is like that. They develop in the path in the wrong way. And they cannot to overcome ignorance and arouse true knowledge. For what reason? Because the view is wrongly directed, wrongly grasped. And then they give the analogy of, but if you hold that wheat stalk in the correct way, then you wouldn't draw the blood. Anyway, so it's grasping the practice in the right way is how you pierces ignorance, arouses true knowledge, and realizes Nibbana. Now this last sutra is a little bit long, but I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But it's basically this monk some monk had gone to this prince and was asking him about the way to practice the spiritual life. If a person makes a wish or doesn't make the wish, if you don't practice the Dhamma correctly, if you don't practice with the right view, then even if you make a wish to attain enlightenment or don't make the wish, you won't win the fruit. Anyway, it's just very nice to read these suttas the way that the Buddha, taught the Dhamma in these ways, and the importance of having the right view, because everything comes from right view. If the view is wrong, then your thoughts will be wrong. If the thoughts are wrong, your speech will be wrong. If your speech is wrong, your actions will be wrong. And then your effort will be wrong, mindfulness will be wrong, and the concentration will be wrong. So anyway, I encourage you to read, through the sutra, just to see these different analogies that the Buddha, if you get a person in need of milk, if he tries to pull the horn of a cow to get milk, he's not going to get any milk. So the same way, if you have wrong view and you hope to get knowledge with wrong view, you're not going to get, any knowledge from that. But if you have right view, if you pull the udder of a cow, then you might get the milk. Okay, friends, so I encourage you to read that. I want to see if any of you have any questions about, any of those steps of the Eightfold Path. But again, most people, they haven't heard of this, the Tenfold Path. But the Tenfold Path is only for somebody who has, attained Sotapanna, and they're, having the right attainment and right knowledge. Refers to the path and the fruits. Let's see what's in the. In this chat, it seems backwards in this sutta. I don't know what you're referring to. What seems backward in which sutta? If you want to, Samir, if you want to raise your hand. And anyway, I'm going to go back to stopping the sharing and come back to see if anybody has any questions on that. Samir, do you have a question you want to ask?
Yeah, I was just referring, Bhante, to the sutta where there was reference to the barley stalk. It just seemed like what was possible, what was impossible, it just seemed kind of backwards. I don't know if that was a cut and paste problem or maybe I misunderstood the.
Well, I might have, yeah, sometimes you have to read the suttas very carefully to understand. Now, you know what a stalk of wheat is, right? Or barley? There's spikes there's little seeds with spikes on them. So if you grab it in the wrong way, those spikes might, draw blood.
Yeah.
Now that would be the wrong grasping of it. If you grab it in the right way, it's not going to draw the blood. So that's grasping the right view. if you have the right view and you grasp it in the right way, then it will help you to then draw knowledge, to practice all the other steps of the Eightfold Path. It's the same way like with a snake. If you try to catch a snake and you grab it by its tail, then the snake could turn around and bite you and cause deadly pain or death. But if you know how to catch a snake by holding it just behind its neck, so the head can't turn around and bite you, then in the same way. So that's the same way as practicing the Dhamma. If you use the Dhamma just to become famous or become a great preacher, but don't practice it in the right way, then it can turn around and, bite you. Mm-hmm. So that's probably a better analogy, a more clear analogy. There's actually a sutra called the Simile of the Snake, which means the same thing.
Got it.
Dragon Yogi, you have a question?
Yes, Bhante. I'm also talking about Eightfold Path. I know one of our teachers shared with us about, you mentioned it from the G, about harmony and the harmonious perspective.
Harmonious perspective, yes.
And how to approach everything with that wide, spacious versus narrow-minded.
Right. So, it has the same meaning, basically. Right view is having the right view means approaching it in the way where you have that proper, wider view of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Damon, you have a question?
Yeah, I put it in the chat. Doesn't right view include understanding rebirth as literally across lifetimes, past life, this life, next life? You've given Dharma talks about that, but so I don't understand why this sutra doesn't mention the acceptance of karma and rebirth as part of right view.
Because this is this particular sutra is just laying it out in general terms. But that would fall under the suffering, the cause of suffering, not under right view, or the Four Noble Truths. Right view means understanding the Four Noble Truths, which is about suffering and the cause of suffering. So suffering, it means being bound up in the law of karma. And then having to experience the results of that karma, which would include the rebirth. But now, rebirth from lifetime to lifetime, even some Buddhists say that the Buddha didn't teach about rebirth.
Well, then they're not started.
But they haven't read the sutras if they don't believe that. But anyway, but the rebirth, there's two types of rebirth: external rebirth, or lifetime to rebirth, and moment to moment rebirth. That's the most important one, how our mind is reborn from moment to moment. So anyway, those, you have to read other suttas to where the Buddha mentions about the rebirth, especially the Kama Vibhanga Sutta, where he talks about the Kama, and that certain types of actions lead to rebirth in, particular realms. So like if you live like an animal, then you might be and accumulate the Kama that animals do, just, not going to get into all that, but then you might be reborn as an animal, if you're reborn as a deva. But anyway, we're not interested in rebirth. We're interested in about suffering in this life itself. And so if you take if you take care of this life itself, you don't have to worry about the next life. If there is rebirth, it will be a pleasant one. And if there isn't rebirth, then you don't lose anything either. So,
Right, but when you've given us a teaching about dependent origination, you've always expressed it in terms of 3 different lifetimes. So that's where I'm getting this from, you know.
well, that's one explanation. That is the mundane explanation from lifetime to lifetime. Yes, we were born. You're born into this life now, but a lot of it was due to your karma you created in the past life. So your karma said, okay, you needed to get married in this life to experience that for whatever reason. In my case, I knew when I was 12 years old, I'd never get married. And it happened that way. So I think, that was something in my last life that conditioned that. And so, but then whatever you're doing in this life, then you're accumulating more life. What you're doing now is going to affect you. What you do today is going to affect you tomorrow. Let's say you told a lie to your wife and she found out tomorrow, and then she got angry at you, or in the next month or years or the next life, if you haven't sort of worked all that out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just get tired of hearing about all these secular Buddhists who said that, oh, we only accept, this truth, but not that truth, because that's not scientific and nobody has future lives and past lives. So I just feel like they have wrong view.
Well, I want to see those people, maybe in another 10, 20, 30 years when research and science develops where they can actually observe consciousness leaving the body going to another life. And they might well be able to do that in the future. Who knows? Look, they're going to the moon again and Mars. If they can do that, observing
Right,
consciousness leaving the body shouldn't be that difficult.
Definitely.
So these people have to, eat their,
eat their hat.
So it's better to have an open mind. Maybe there's rebirth, maybe there's not rebirth. Even for myself, I don't have absolute proof there's rebirth, but it sounds better. It's more logical than the idea that it came out of nowhere or that some kind of a God just created everything and so on. Anyway.
Thank you. Sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. Okay. Is there any other questions?
Short question, Bhante.
There's a second, something else in the chat box. Okay. Bhaskar had a question. Some religions teach their followers that all other religions are demonic and wrong. They don't believe in karma and rebirth. Does that mean they're holding a wrong view? According to the Buddhist, yes, it would be a wrong view. If they believe that God is controlling everything, and so on, then that would be a wrong view from the Dhamma point of view. And yeah, it's interesting because this, actually I'll just mention it now, this Saturday evening I'm going to be participating in a Catholic Buddhist dialogue with some Catholic, I think they're lay people. I'm not sure if there are any monks going to come, but some, Catholics and the Buddhists, some Buddhist monks from different sects, Chinese, Korean Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, and myself representing Theravada Buddhism. And then 3 Catholic speakers are going to be having some, I don't know if they're going to be debates or dialogues or, discuss certain things, but some of these ideas may come out about, sometimes the Catholics, ask Buddhists directly, the Buddhists believe in God, and so you have to, answer it in a way that, hopefully, they might be able to understand, but it's very difficult. Anyway, so, but it is a wrong view if they don't believe in the karma. They think everything is controlled by God. It's God that causes you to do various things or not. So, and the Buddha has given suttas about that. What about I don't know? I'm not sure what that means. What does fold mean in Eightfold Path? I guess it just means 8 steps. You could call it the 8-step path, Eightfold Path. We say threefold. Something is threefold or fivefold. I mean, there are 5 parts, 3 parts or 5 parts of something. So eightfold means there's 8 sort of parts to it. Can we watch the Catholic debate on Zoom? No, I don't know anything about that. I'm not sure. Oh, Bhaskar, yeah, he knows a little bit about it. It's not broadcast. It's at
Okay.
a Korean temple in Rockville. If any of you live in Rockville, you could go there and join it in person. If you're interested, you can send me a private email and I can send you the address. That'd be the best way. If you live in the area of Rockville, Korean Won Buddhist Temple, anyway, I could send you the address if you want to send me an email to info@lionwisdom.org and ask me to send you the address. I can do that. Samir, do you have another question?
Yeah, Bhante, in right intention, what's the difference between non-ill will and harmlessness? They sound, I've never understood what the difference is. It sounds similar.
Non-ill will. Ill will and harmlessness, you see, both like metta and compassion, they seem like they're similar. So ill will and cruelty, they're similar. First, you have to have ill will in order to be cruel. And you have to have metta before you can practice compassion. Who's going to help somebody if they hate the person? So you have to first have the, and so the ill will is more of a thought. You're thinking ill thoughts towards somebody. And if you keep on thinking it, it may then turn into actual action toward that person. In the same way with the metta, that's why metta is usually practiced first. And when you have a friendly attitude toward people, then you will be more compassionate when something happens to them. So, does that
I see.
clear it up a little bit?
So the cruelty component includes both speech and bodily action, I imagine. Is that right?
Well, the cruelty is a more overt. Ill will is the thoughts about it.
Yeah.
So you're not going to know necessarily that I'm thinking ill will thoughts of you, but if I start cursing you, or something, then, that's an overt action that then you might start cursing me back. So the ill will is more thoughts, whereas the cruelty comes from that.
Okay. Thank you.
So there's an answer to this Catholic Buddhist dialogue. It's from 6 to 9 p.m. on this coming Saturday evening at Won Buddhist Temple in Rockville, although I thought it was north of Silver Spring. Anyway, okay, there's the address. So somebody has put the address up here. 4257 Muncaster Mill Road, Rockville, Maryland. That is the Korean Won Buddhist Temple. That's from 6 to 9 p.m. on this coming Saturday evening. So there's going to be a lot of different speakers giving like 15 or it's like 3 hours long. I've been to a Buddhist, inter-Buddhist gathering like that too. So if you have this last question, ill will, intention. Yes, we can have an intention of ill will. So the right thought, right intention means right thought, right resolve. It's the mind leaning towards having, ill will thoughts toward people, who don't believe the way you do or whatever. And then that's why, usually it comes from that, people that don't believe the way you do, and then you would start doing speech and actions toward those persons. Okay, friends, I think we'll go ahead and bring this. You have one last question, Dragon Yogi? No?
Bhante, sometimes we get into these discussions about religion. And from my understanding, so I've heard, when the Buddha came through, there were 72 different religions. And the idea was to teach the art of living, not the art of religion.
Right, it depends on what you mean by religion, of course.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to share, not because I heard it before. One of our teachers went to one of these things too, and then what's his name now? The African, uh, can't remember his name, the bishop, he and the Dalai Lama would have those discussions online as well. I thought it was pretty
Desmond
interesting.
Tutu.
Yes, Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama conversation. Very interesting. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, friends, let's go ahead and take a few minutes break and then come back and do some deep breathing and some stretches, then have our meditation, okay? See you back in a few minutes. Okay, friends, so stand straight, relax your arms at the sides. Just gently close your eyes, feel your head balanced on top of the neck. And keep your chin lifted up level with the floor. Just try to feel the outline of the standing body. Feel your eyes in the sockets, the head balanced on top, arms at the sides, feet pressing the floor. And begin some deep, slow breathing. Take 2 or 3 seconds to expand the abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest, drawing the air from the lower lung up to the top. Hold the air in for 2 seconds, and slowly breathe out. Take several 3-part breaths like that, cultivating this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we'll combine this breathing with these movements. Do the movement while breathing in, holding the position for 2 seconds. Returning to the starting point on the out breath, repeating each one 3 times all together before going on to another exercise. With the next in breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, straighten the arms, stretch your head back, stretch upwards. Feel the sensations. Release the fingers on the out breath. Arms back to the sides. Feel the air go out to the lungs. Again, in breath. Up. Stretch up. Bend back a little. Feel the arch in the spine. Out breath, arms back to the sides, feel the air go out. Once more, in. Stretch up, bend back a little more, hold it a little longer. Feel the sensation. Out breath. Arms back to the sides, relax, just close your eyes, and feel the increased body sensations. Do the breathing and stretching, activating the cellular vibration. Just remember the present moment and standing. Standing, just letting go of your thoughts. And feel the clothing touching the outer skin, with subtler sensations under the skin. Remember standing, standing, standing. And the next in breath, lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the arms up like this, facing the hands toward each other about 5 inches apart, and stretch. Out breath, come back down, feel the air go out as the arms come down to the side. The in breath, use the in breath to help lift up the body. Stretch. Out. Once more in. Stretch. Out. Relax. Close the eyes, keep feeling the body. Each exercise will generate different sensations, different places. Feel the clothing touching the outer skin, subtler sensations under the skin, the heartbeat, pulsations, prickly sensations. Remember standing, standing. Let your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. The outline of the standing body in front of the awareness. Next we'll do side bending using both arms. On the in-breath, raise both arms up and keep your fingers and arms straight close to your head. On the out-breath, bend over the right side. Your arms parallel to each other like railroad tracks. In-breath, lift up. Then the other side, out-breath. In-breath up. Into the right, out-breath. In. Out. In. Once more to each side. The out breath, lower the arms. Feeling the sensation. Clothing touching the outer skin. Subtler cellular vibrations under the skin. Your legs are pain. Letting go of the thoughts. Standing, standing, standing. Okay, next we'll do the knee bending or squatting. On the in breath, lift up on the balls of the feet, raise the hands up front for balance. On the out breath, bend the knees and lower the body down into the squatting position. If you can, take a deep breath, feel the muscles in the legs, pushing the body up on the balls of the feet. Again, out breath. In, out. In, out breath, relax. With the increased heartbeat, the pulsations, so many different sensations you can notice. Clothing touching the skin, heart beating, pulsations, prickly sensations, aches or pains, present moment of the body. Okay, now spread the legs and feet apart, about 3 feet. Pull the arms out to the sides, so deep twisting from right to left, lateral twisting of the spine. Breathe in. The out breath, twist to the right. Keep the eyes focused on the hand going back. In breath, back to the front. Let your feet turn with the body. Twist to the left side. In breath, front. Keep alternating sides with the breathing. Out breath to the right. Out. In. Once more to each side. Lower the arms. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Feel the arms and hands hanging at the sides. And the subtle sensations in your fingers. Clothing touching the outer skin. Just this body exactly as it is, here and now. Present moment, body-centered awareness. Now place both hands together at the chest. And breathe in, hands over the head. On the out breath, hands to the chest, and bend the knees, lower down. And stretch in the hips and knees. In breath, push back up, hands over the head. In out breath, come down a little more. In. Out. In. Out breath, arms to the sides. Close the eyes. Feel each foot pressing the floor. And the increased heartbeat, pulsations. Clothing touching the skin. Any other little aches or pains. Letting thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Now bring the legs and feet closer together. Standing straight, do the head turning from right to left. On the in-breath, turn the head to the right. And look over your right shoulder. You have a stiff neck, just be careful. Feel the sensations. On the out breath, turn the head all the way back to the left. Look over the left shoulder. In breath, back to the right. Concentrate into the neck vertebrae. Imagine feeling them loosening up, out breath, left. Once more to each side. On the in-breath, let the head stop in the center. Keep feeling the body, close the eyes. That outline of the body in the mind's eye. The eye of awareness. Remember standing, standing. clothing touching the outer skin, subtle life force vibrations under the skin. Okay, we're going to do just one last exercise, the backward and forward bending. Just be careful with the back bends. Don't bend back too far, especially when you lift up from a back bend. Be careful with shaking. You turn the palms facing outwards so your little fingers touch together. On the in-breath, raise the hands up level to your eyes, and begin spreading the arms out to the sides as you bend back on the out-breath. Look at the ceiling. Carefully lift up on the in-breath, keep the arms out at the sides. On the out-breath, lower the arms and hands down towards the floor, and keep your legs straight. Until the bones in the lower spine stretch out. Begin lifting up, turn the palms outward again, in breath. The hands up, out breath, arms out to the side and back. In breath, lift up. Out breath, downward stretch. Once more, in, out. In. Third time, we'll hold a downward stretch longer. Until the bones in the lower spine stretch out. And keep the legs straight. Feel all the sensation. And begin standing up. Breathe in, hands together at the chest. Out breath, hands to the sides. Feel the whole body vibrating, pulsating with activated life force. You feel as though you're standing on a vibrating machine, feeling all those vibrations from the soles of the feet up to the top of the head. This body here and now, present moment, body-centered awareness. Okay, now let's mindfully come back to our seats, ready for the sitting. So get comfortable in the sitting posture. Just sitting straight, keep your spine straight, and establish the natural inward curve of the lower spine. Helps to support the weight of the upper body. Gently close your eyes. Feel your head balanced on top. Feel your eyes resting in the sockets. Try to feel that outline of the sitting body, sense of the head on top, arms at the sides, buttocks pressing the seat, feet tucked underneath. Try to hold that outline of the sitting body in the mind's eye. Then begin some three-part breathing or deep, slow breathing to feel the more dynamic expanding and contracting of the breathing, the abdomen, rib cage, and chest. Just developing this present moment awareness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath a second. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to try counting our breaths from 1 to 10 to develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with your breathing and concentration. So at the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath a second. And with the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. And the next in breath, 2, out breath 2, in 3, out 3, in 4, out 4, in 5, out 5, in 6, out 6, in 7, out 7, in 8, out 8, in 9, out 9, in 10, out 10. Feel the last bit of air go out, then don't try to control the breath any longer. Just let there be a little longer pause. Let the breath come back in under its own power. But continue to observe it. Keep your attention focused, center of the body. Feel the residual or shorter, expanding and contracting sensations. Just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. Know it by feeling it. Try to feel those sensations where your clothing rubs against the skin of your abdomen or stomach, rib cage or chest, as it expands and contracts. Just make that the main focus of your concentrated awareness. Just try to tune into the 4 phases of each breath cycle. The expanding in breath and the brief pause. The contracting out breath and the brief pause, just over and over and over again. To help stay focused, you can use these brief reminders of in sitting, out, out, sitting, in sitting, out, out, sitting. It's the ongoing, continuous connection with the present moment, this breathing body. This breathing body is the natural connection to the present moment awareness. Try to feel like being a scientist looking down through a microscope, observing an experiment, observing this life process of breathing inside this body. Letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Try to keep the outline of the breathing body in the front of the awareness. In sitting, out, out, sitting, breath by breath, moment by moment. Try to feel that breathing process in the center of this larger sitting body. If you still have lots of thoughts, you can try counting the breaths again from 1 to 10 by yourself. See if you can make it to 10 without the mind going to sleep or getting carried away in thought. If any time the mind does get lost, you forget where you are counting, start the counting again at 1. So it becomes a challenge not to lose your counting. Or just keep remembering in sitting, out, out, sitting. catch the mind lost in thoughts, recognize it as lost. Start your counting again at 1, or just take a deep, slow breath. Come back to in, sitting, out, sitting. Do some more deep, slow breathing to help stay awake, centered in the body. Try to notice how each breath is different. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. Sometimes you feel it more in the abdomen, sometimes you feel it in the rib cage or upper chest. It's always changing. The pauses between the breaths, check your posture to straighten the spine or lift the head if it's slouching. Be alert to how quickly certain sensations arise and vanish very quickly. Be aware of the stream of thoughts moving through the back of the mind, waiting for a chance to dart in, steal your attention away. Gradually opening up to the flow of impermanence. Body sensations, sounds, thoughts, constantly coming and going, arising and vanishing. Through this breathing body, awareness. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. So many sensations coming and going. Pleasure, pain come and go. Sounds come and go. Perceptions, thoughts come and go. Emotions come and go. These are all just a continuous flow and change of the five aggregates of body and mind. If you have a good awareness of the flow of impermanence, it's become like an empty house, with nobody home to answer the call, knocking on the doors and windows. But there's a sensitive microphone in the house that knows but doesn't know. A natural present moment awareness. dukkha patthacani dukkha bhayapattacani bhaya sokapatthacani sokha hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. In this way, may all beings live with mindfulness and wisdom. Thus spoke the Buddha. Now I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly. Do that chanting on a long out breath to feel those vibrations in the body and mind. So take a deep breath. Sadhu. Breathe. Sadhu. Breathe. Sadhu. Now place your hands at the edge of your knees. Take one more deep breath. As you breathe in, stretch your head back. Pull your hands against the knees to arch your spine back. Look up at the ceiling. And lift the head up on an in-breath, and on the out-breath, press the chin to the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebrae. Lift the chin up level on an in-breath, and relax on the out-breath. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends, so this brings our evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice to an end, but as I always say, mindfulness should never end. And that means, try to practice your M&Ms during the week, stopping every hour for 1 minute. Bring your mind back to the present moment, break that push to the future, bring the mind to the present moment of the body, coming back to breathing in, standing, breathing out, standing, just relaxing the mind into the present moment with the body. It's really one of the good ways to keep the mindfulness sharp during the day. Okay, So be well, be safe, be mindful, be wise. Namo Buddhaya. See you perhaps
Namo
again next
Buddhaya.
week.
Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bhante. Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you, Bhante. Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante. Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you, Bhante.
Well.
Have a good night.